Well, hello from the McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle, where Ireland will play their round 2 Nations Championship game against Japan on Saturday. 10 past 11 Irish time is the kickoff. Well, Ireland left their base in Sydney on Thursday and arrived in, I think it's fair to say, the more sleepy surrounds of Newcastle, which is a short 2-hour spin north from the hustle and bustle of Sydney. Definitely much lower key feel to the week this week. Japan, of course, the opposition. I guess the reason Ireland are playing here in the first place is that they didn't fancy the trip down to Tokyo, and with Japan being an invitational team to the Nations Championship, they were forced to play their game in Australia. This is the venue that Japan will play their opening World Cup game next year against Samoa. So Eddie Jones and his coaching staff are using this week as a bit of a dry run ahead of that game. Well, I think again it's fair to say the game hasn't captured the imagination of the locals. As you can see behind me, there is a lot of construction going on the stadium. It holds 33,000 people at its absolute capacity. It's been reduced to 27 this season because of the works going on beyond me, but unfortunately, we're not going to have to worry about hitting those kind of numbers tomorrow, because the latest update on the ground here is that if we hit 8,000 here for the game on Saturday, we would be doing well. So that throws up, I think, a lot of different challenges apart from COVID games, as Andy Farrell outlined yesterday. The game in Lisbon last summer against Portugal, which of course lots of the Irish players weren't involved in because they were on the Lions tour, but the Irish players won't be used to have been played in front of such a small crowd for their country. So that presents a few different challenges. Well, this is a big rugby league stadium. The Newcastle Knights play here. The Newcastle Jets, the football team, play here as well. Irish football fans may remember Wes Houlihan played here for a season, and so did Roy O'Donovan, played here for a couple of seasons as well. So big rugby league town. It's a pretty interesting stadium. It's just a shame that more people aren't going to be here for, I think, what will be a really exciting game. We've got 4 new caps, of course, for Ireland. Sean Jansen from the start, the Connacht number 8, gets a fully deserved opportunity after a brilliant season for Connacht. He won Connacht's Player of the Year. He is a teak tough number 8. I think he's got all the characteristics, I think, to make the step up to Test rugby, and it will be a significant step up. I think it's telling that Andy Farrell is playing him in his best position. He's moved Jack Conan to the blind side to accommodate Jansen, so it'll be fascinating to see how that back row goes of Conan, Nick Timoney, who was brilliant off the bench last week against Australia, and Sean Jansen. Well, the other 3 uncapped players are going to get their debuts off the bench, all going well. You have Jansen's teammates, props, 20-year-old Billy Bowen, who has just enjoyed a phenomenal breakthrough season. Hard to believe that he's still only 20 years old. He's gotten great experience in the URC with Connacht, scrummaging against big South African teams. This will be a different kind of challenge, like I said, a bit like Jansen in terms of stepping up to the Test arena, but he looks like he has everything needed to survive. It won't all be plain sailing for someone so young, of course. Eddie Jones tried to put the pressure on the referee Andrea Piardi yesterday by saying that Japan expect to dominate the scrum, the Ireland scrum, particularly in the second half. Well, Bowen's Connacht's teammate Sam Illo, the 25-year-old tight head who has made Connacht his own home from after moving from Dublin a couple of years ago, where he came through the ranks at Leinster. Really aggressive tight head prop. It's taken him a little longer to mature, but at 25 still has the best rugby ahead of him. Then you have Bryn Ward, one of the Ward brothers, of course. Zach is not in the squad, the winger, but Bryn is a 21-year-old back row, full of personality, full of vigour. It'll be fascinating to see how he makes the step up. So lots of excitement to see those guys. But there's more experienced, more established players for whom this is a really big opportunity to impress tomorrow. I'm thinking of guys like Craig Casey at scrum half, who would have been really disappointed not to get off the bench last week. He was the only unused replacement Andy Farrell was telling us yesterday that at times he's been a little bit too desperate to impress. Well, tomorrow he's got a great chance just to slot in. He's got Cian Tracey next to him, for whom it's going to be his first Test start. Number 10, hard to believe really, but ahead of Frawley's move to Connacht next season, this is a big opportunity to stake his claim ahead of next year's World Cup. I think the same can be said for guys like Jacob Stockdale on the left wing. Look, life after James Lowe continues here tomorrow, and in terms of a like-for-like replacement, you'd have to say that on paper, Jacob Stockdale has a lot of the same traits that James Lowe would have possessed. Big, strong, big left boot, has an offload in him. But it's up to Stockdale, I think, to get himself involved in the game. We know how Andy Farrell likes his wingers to be untidy, so the Ulster man is going to have to come in off his wing, get himself involved. So I think the focus for a lot of people will be on the new faces. Of course, there's a lot of excitement there, but there's more experienced guys who really have to take this opportunity. I think a guy like Cormac Izuchuku has found opportunities with Ireland hard to come by. He's going to come off the bench as well. Fascinated to see how he gets on. So the build-up will continue. We're going to speak to Tadhg Burns shortly now. Of course, he will captain Ireland for the first time tomorrow. Ronan Kelleher at hooker will win his 50th cap. So there's a lot of firsts happening. I think Andy Farrell will build a week around that, but it's how this changed Ireland team. 9 changes from the team last week. I think how they gel together, I think, will be a little bit of a challenge. In the past, when Andy Farrell has made wholesale changes, he's tended to use the word clunky to describe the performance. I don't think those sort of excuses are going to wash here tomorrow, particularly when you consider there's only approximately 14 games left between now and next year's World Cup. And while that might seem like a lot, in reality it's not, because you think of the Six Nations, Andy Farrell doesn't tend to rotate too much. So that adds a bit of pressure to the guys I mentioned in terms of just grabbing their opportunity here tomorrow. Japan are coming into the game off the back of a good performance against the Maori All Blacks and a brilliant win over Italy last weekend, 27-10 in Tokyo. Look, we've all seen the improvements that Italy have made in the last few years. So Japan will pose their own threats, but really this is a game that Ireland should be targeting a win. Of course, like last week, there's a bonus point on offer because you're playing for the finals weekend, which will take place in Twickenham in November. So I think 5 points will be the target for Ireland, and I certainly think they're good enough to do it. So make sure you stay tuned to the Irish Independent as we continue our build-up for all the best coverage of the Nations Championship.